these crazy bull markets of 100x's, 1000x's will not go on forever. So as less money is being made, then there's no other reason to get into the industry. Now, that doesn't mean everybody's getting into the industry to make money. Capitalism at its finest. Well, even if they come in for the money and stay for the money, well, the real way to make money is by creating value. That's how capitalism should work, unless you're a scammer. So as long as you want to make money, great, you have to create value. Name, title, and project. My name is Mario Nawfal. Title, CEO, show host, and project. I do a lot. We invest a lot, so I don't have a project of my own. And obviously we've got the media conglomerate as well. We're in Austin, and the reason I'm here is interviewing Robert F. Kennedy at Consensus, which is the main reason that I'm here. Everything else is secondary. So I hope that's a good enough reason. I love Bobby. My discussion with him was 80-90% political. And his stances are very nuanced, and he's also one of the most misrepresented people in politics. I've never seen a presidential candidate that had his character assassinated to that level. So he was a very fascinating person. I've had him on the space as well, but in-person interviews are always nice. I always like to do that.
Why do you think he's subject to so much character assassination?
He's gone against two of the biggest and the most powerful institutions in the US. Before I continue, I just want to understand, I'm a very pragmatic person. Hate going too extreme, conspiracy theories, etc. Just try to stick to facts. And what I'm going to say is facts. The military-industrial complex and the pharmaceutical industry are insanely powerful. For example, pharmaceutical industries and the US Marine Corps are the only two organizations that cannot be sued whatsoever with pharmaceutical industries when they're manufacturing vaccines. So that means if they fuck up a vaccine, they cannot be sued. So it gives you an idea of how much power they have. And the military-industrial complex goes without saying, the influence they have and the lobbying power they have. He's gone completely against them, and he's completely against the three-letter agencies, CIA, FBI, SEC, etc. Despite, the possibility that the CIA was involved in his uncle's and possibly his father's assassinations, Rob F. Kennedy and JFK, John F. Kennedy. So going against these two organizations made him an enemy. The media used to love him before that. He used to be a media darling, the Kennedy family. But then when he went against the pharmaceutical industry mainly, it completely flipped, and some of the headlines against him were just ridiculous. And when you start talking to him, you start understanding this is a pretty smart guy. Like, every time he takes a stance, he gives you the facts behind it. He articulates it really well. We saw Trump and, going to crypto. We saw Trump and Biden. We saw the U-turn by Biden and Trump slowly shifting to becoming pro-crypto. But you'd never hear them articulate their position in a very detailed and nuanced way. But yet, with Bobby, he explains why he's become pro-crypto, the benefits of Bitcoin to the US financial system. He also talks about how much Bitcoin he owns. I can't remember, I think it's like 51 Bitcoin. I asked him that question at the end. Talks about how the decentralization of mining, and the most important narrative of his is how for a democracy to function, decentralization is a necessity, which brings us back to crypto and blockchain.
Out of the three candidates, which one do you think is most pro-crypto, and which one do you think the community's welcomed the most?
Yeah, so obviously it's JFK. RFK, Robert F. Kennedy. And so he's the most pro-crypto. The likelihood of him winning it's still a possibility. Like, he's doing well, but he's got a long way to go. What's interesting is there was a poll, a pretty large survey that was done. If he ran against Biden and Trump wasn't in the race, for whatever reason, he wins by a landslide against Biden. And if Biden wasn't in the race for whatever reason, and he ran against Trump, he wins by a small margin. So that means he's actually the candidate that would win if it was a two candidate race. But when the three candidates are running for president, three-party race, he loses by, so far based on the polls, he loses by a pretty wide margin. There's not many polls that put him, I don't think there's any polls that put him above 20%.
If you had American citizenship, would you vote for him?
No, even if I had an American citizenship. I'm an Australian citizen. I've never voted in Australia. I just don't like to vote, just because I'll try to stay as neutral as I can, just considering the media side of what we do. And I've always been like this since I was a kid. I always try not to take a stance, because I feel when you take a stance, you've just kind of attached yourself to a certain ideology, to a certain belief. And then it makes it more difficult to start to question it. So on my end, I'm like, I'm never gonna vote. Even if I love a person, I'm never gonna vote. But he's definitely one I'd consider. I'd consider all three: Trump, Biden, and Robert F. Kennedy. But he was very interesting.
Many people have deemed this year to be consequential and even pivotal for crypto. Can you please share your views on that?
Yeah, I agree. Look, this is a consequential year for the United States and for the world. And I'm not over-exaggerating. Obviously, I'm not going to get into AI and how fast this is moving and how scary that is. I'm going to skip that, which is for me the scariest. You've got the risk of a nuclear war. You've got, and I don't want to get into geopolitics too much, but it's all interconnected. Crypto's getting very big. So where geopolitical events, like when I was covering the Iran attack on Israel live, and crypto just plummeted that day. Do you remember?
Yes.
Exactly. So we're at a position now where these things do impact the industry. So we've got a risk of a nuclear war, and that risk is increasing every month. British foreign minister approved Ukraine using British weapons to attack the Russian mainland, not Ukrainian territory occupied by Russia itself. The US allegedly did the same, or are planning to do the same. So you've got that, and then you've got Trump. Remember, I was in the consensus after interviewing Robert F. Kennedy. Right afterwards, Trump convicted, guilty, 34 charges. That's scary shit. I don't care where you are on the political spectrum. The politicization of the legal system, a pillar of the democracy, is scary. And then you've got the U-turn that Gensler, after alleged call from the Biden administration, suddenly approves ETHs everyone gave up on. I was with Seifert. I met him in the Karate Fight Club and we're talking about it briefly. He's been on my show, on our show, me, Ran and Scott, on Crypto Town Hall a few times talking about it. It's like a surprise to everybody. No one expected it. And obviously Trump shifting his narrative to becoming pro-crypto. What I think is that we've passed the stage where crypto can be stopped. I'm going to replace crypto with decentralization. I think that ship has sailed. That always was my concern, that governments around the world would crack down on the industry. Could happen, but it's just become a lot more difficult, and public opinion is so pro-crypto right now that it's become important enough for the Biden administration to allegedly call Gensler and say, hey man, cut it off. What are you doing? We have to give up this fight. Let's fight another battle instead. And for Trump to do what he did, and for Robert to come in and have a discussion with us and do his keynote at Consensus. Actually, that answers your question. If someone mentioned that to you 5, 6, 7 years ago, and that would happen by 2024, it would be pretty hard to believe.
I'm curious if you think, A, the crypto community can swing the election results in the US, and B, if you think the politicization of crypto is net positive for the crypto industry.
Great questions. I like these two questions. All right, so the first one, can it sway? No. It cannot impact the election, otherwise we'd be talking about it a lot more. Otherwise, Trump and Biden will be at consensus. So the answer is no to that one. But it has enough of an impact for them to talk about it, and for Robert Kennedy to be there, and for Trump to talk about it, and for Biden to do what he did, allegedly. So that's on the first question, on how big of an impact it could have on the elections. In terms of the second question, the politicization of crypto, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Right now, of course, it's a good thing. It's legitimizing the industry, and it's being politicized for the right reasons. It could be a bad thing. It was being politicized a year or two ago, but that's because of Sam and FTX. So the politicians were like, screw crypto, screw Sam, screw that scammy industry. We're gonna shut it down. Now it's like, innovation. We need to support our creators, our entrepreneurs. Otherwise, we will have the brain drain, everyone leaving the US, which is actually happening when it comes to crypto. And it's being politicized for the right reasons. So right now it's a good thing. It will become a bad thing soon, like any other issue.
Share your thoughts with me on the current state of mainstream media.
Oh, mainstream media. All right, that's a cool question. I've talked with a lot of executives in the mainstream media industry, because I'm like, and some of them are well-meaning, like they want to improve the industry, they want to regain trust. They have very interesting stances that are more neutral, because they're looking at our model of how we're kind of the whole citizen journalism thing, where we go direct to the readers, to the listeners through social media, with our spaces, the shows, and all that, and we try to balance it out, always left and right, Ukraine, Russia, Gaza, Israel, have both sides together, and they're trying to understand our model. And they asked me a question like, what do we do? Because they're hemorrhaging readers and attention. And I said, I don't know. CNN, Fox, BBC, CNBC, you've broken trust with your audience. I think it's cheaper to just write it out till it dies and maybe invest in other brands that are unrelated than trying to rebuild trust with your audience, because that's a hell of an uphill battle. It'll take a long, long time. So that's a long way of saying that mainstream media is shifting, media is changing. That's a great thing for us.
And how important do you think the work that independent media organizations like the Defiant do in covering crypto in the context of how rapidly the crypto industry is growing?
This is an emerging industry. There is a need for someone to take, there's, trust, we're talking about trust in the political system. Crypto isn't too different. How many KOLs come and go all the time because they've just, instead of saying the right thing, or instead of disclosing they're paid by a project, they just shill a project organically while getting paid, and that just ruins their whole reputation. Media platforms as well, we saw what happened with the Block and FTX. I think they've recovered well since. But it just shows the risks the same risks that we're talking on the political spectrum, they happen in crypto. So we know media, that's what we're obsessed with, that's what I'm obsessed with. And we think that a role we're trying to do is onboarding Web 2 to Web 3. So our reach in the political side, in the political world, the financial world, we have a daily finance show, in the AI world, that audience, know that I'm in crypto. I bring up decentralization to that audience. So it allows us to kind of onboard a lot of people from Web 2 to Web 3.
What was the primary motivation to get into crypto?
What got me into crypto was, I love the concept of blockchain. I know it sounds like a cheesy answer, but I'll fix it by saying how dumb I was. So then I'm being honest. I love the concept of blockchain. I thought Bitcoin was stupid. As in Bitcoin, the concept of Bitcoin surviving is stupid. I thought centralization is going to destroy Bitcoin. Remember the old days when everyone was talking about the mining pools centralizing Bitcoin and that leading to a 51% attack? I thought that was too high of a risk. I was very confident it will happen, matter of time. So I love the concept of blockchain. I'm like, how can I invest in blockchain without buying Bitcoin? I don't remember what investments I did, if any. But then I eventually launched IBC in 2017, initially as a consulting firm, a blockchain, that's what it's called. IBC stands for International Blockchain Consulting. And we became the second biggest consulting firm in 2017 before I got scammed. And then the ICO hype happened and we kind of became a VC marketing firm and now more of a VC firm and a media company.
Do you think most people come into the crypto industry because they like the technology that underlies it?
Come on, really? You know the answer. Anyone that says yes is lying to you. Of course not, they're coming in for money. It's slowly changing because these crazy bull markets of 100x's, 1000x's will not go on forever. So as less money is being made, then there's no other reason to get into the industry. Now, it doesn't mean everybody's getting into the industry to make money, but capitalism at its finest. And there's nothing wrong with this. If they come in for the money, but they stay for the technology, or even if they come in for the money and stay for the money, well, the real way to make money is by creating value. That's how capitalism should work, unless you're a scammer. So as long as you want to make money, great, you have to create value. Whether it's a meme coin that ends up standing the test of time, I'm going to that extreme, or whether you're building a new L1 that solves a problem that Ethereum, Solana, etc. is not solving. So there's multiple problems to solve in the industry and multiple experiments to conduct. And if people are doing that because they're passionate, great. Most of them are doing it to make money, even better.
How would you describe the promise of crypto or the underlying ethos of crypto?
Okay, it's simple, I think. Decentralization. I really can't think of a better term. The world is getting more and more centralized. I talk a lot about this because I cover it when it comes, you mentioned briefly AI, but when it comes to censorship. What is censorship? It's centralizing power among social media companies. We touched on the military-industrial complex, the pharmaceutical industry, that's centralizing power in the White House through lobbying. Our democracy or American democracy and democracy across many countries is kind of, I wouldn't say crumbling, but cracking, to say the least. And we saw the Trump convictions yesterday. So Robert Kennedy says it best, and he says that the whole ethos of crypto and blockchain is decentralization. The whole ethos of a democracy is decentralization. That's how a democracy functions. There's going to be a lot of overlap among the two. And I think crypto and blockchain technology could eventually, potentially play a role in I wouldn't say saving our democracy, but at least reversing the current path, which is definitely not towards a democratic path.
Is there anything in the current configuration of the crypto industry that prevents us from reversing some of the damage that's been done on that path, as you're describing?
Yeah, a properly functioning democracy. Yes, centralization, of course. Self-custody is at risk. You've got the ETFs, great for money making, centralizing ownership of Bitcoin among BlackRock and all these guys. So as Wall Street gets in the industry, everyone's excited. The herd is coming. Remember 2017? The herd is coming, the herd is coming. Well, the herd is here. What do you think that's going to lead to? When the herd came into Web 1.0, what happened? How's that Web 2? How decentralized Web 2.0? How decentralized is Amazon and Google and Meta? So will society fit into decentralization and blockchain and the whole ethos of crypto and become more decentralized? Or will crypto fit into the current systems and structures we have that we've built as a species over the last few hundred years and eventually become centralized? Because that's how we're functioning, and we've been functioning for a long time. Democracy itself is still an experiment if you really think about it in the grand scheme of things. An experiment suddenly doesn't look as good as you'd like it to look. So, only time will tell, and I've said this many years ago and I'll continue saying it, decentralization is still an experiment.
The growing convergence between TradFi and DeFi.
Yeah, I don't have a good answer to that one. I don't. I don't like to give an answer when I don't have a good one. But I'm genuinely in the belief that, I think I'm really worried. I won't say I believe that this is going to happen, but I'm going to say I'm really worried that Web 3 is going to go on the same path as Web 1.0. And you could kind of come to your own conclusion on what that means. But obviously, look, we're betting money that this is not going to happen, or at least in the hope that this isn't going to happen, or it might happen a bit milder than what happened in Web 1.0. The ethos behind Web 1.0, again, decentralization, access to the internet, and everyone having equal access to information, to communication, etc. It just got completely crushed. I don't think it'll be that extreme with Web 3. But it's definitely a possibility. So only time will tell. So will DeFi stand the test of time and end up, surviving the regulatory crackdown that it's going to be facing?
I get the impression that as much as you have these concerns, your general outlook is relatively bullish for the space. Is that
extremely
the case?
bullish? Yeah. Look, we've interviewed prime ministers, presidents, politicians, and stuff on the political side. The biggest shows that we do are political. And most people in the world know me because of the political side of things, not the AI, not the finance, and obviously not the crypto. 80 to 90% of my time is spent in crypto. So instead of saying that I'm bullish and bullshitting you, I am here at Consensus. I'm here at Token 2049. I haven't been to one political event. So crypto's still where my heart is. And that's not only because I love the concept of decentralization and the potential it has. That's one part of it. Second, I'm a business person. And from a financial perspective, I see a lot of potential for any entrepreneur and any investor. Again, we invest in about 2-3 projects a day. Any investor to kind of expand their capital deployment in the industry.
Where is the industry going in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, we've touched on this a few times now. I seem like a bit of a fearmonger today, a bit of an alarmist. Well, that's because I was on the Alex Jones show a couple of hours ago. That kind of takes me that path. Alex Jones is another level. And then we obviously had the Trump thing yesterday, and my chat with John Kennedy. I've been listening to a lot of his stuff recently, and he's not an alarmist, but he's also got very serious, significant concerns. And then even researching what happened to his family, the Kennedy family. So I've been down that rabbit hole for the last 3 days. It's easy to be optimistic, but I try to be an optimist. So how we see the industry in 5 to 10 years. From a business perspective, look, guys, like for example, I'll just go to Defiant. Any media company in the crypto space, if you keep building trust, as Defiant is doing and others are doing, insanely valuable. Insanely valuable. If you manage to build trust in any industry, it's one of the most valuable commodities there is right now. And crypto is for me, one of the most bullish assets as well. So if you're going to merge these two assets that I think are extremely valuable, crypto and trust, which is what crypto media is. You know, you got to build trust, and you're talking about crypto. It's probably one of the sexiest industries to be in, crypto media. I've always said crypto media is so lucrative compared to media of any other industry. The second one would be AI. AI is still number 2, despite AI being significantly a bigger deal than crypto.
What advice would you give a new entrant into crypto? Somebody who's maybe looking to be in your position in 5-10 years.
The cycles in crypto are extremely important. Everyone says to you, put your head down and build, and don't ignore cycles. All right, cool, you can do that, and then let me know how the bear market goes. In the bull market, focus on raising capital and preserving capital. That's it. Make as much money as you can, or raise as much money as you can. In a bear market, build as much as you can and spend as little as you can. Because in cryptos, everything's extreme. Bull markets are extremely frothy and crazy. Never seen anything like it. I've been in business for 12 years. Never seen anything like it. So that's bull markets. And bear markets are brutal. Everything just dries up to zero. And you know, behind the scenes, everyone says it. You know, all the media guys, all the investors, all the projects will say like, there's never any money to be made in bear markets. Bear markets is just purely preparing for bull markets. I can't think of any industry that's that extreme, that volatile. So that's for a crypto entrepreneur and an investor. For anyone in the media space, build an audience. You could do that consistently in bear market, bull market. Make money in the bull market because you need to make money if you care about money. But in the bear market, as I said earlier, build trust and educate. In the bull market, capitalize on the trust that you built to make money ethically, and then wait for the bear market so you can build trust again and build a bigger audience. Don't give up in the bear market. That's one of the biggest and stupidest mistakes financially you could do. And then the convergence of the two. I've done the convergence of the two. And if you want to look at media separately to crypto, another extremely lucrative industry because of the erosion of trust in mainstream media. That attention, that trust needs to go elsewhere. And citizen journalists or independent journalists are not doing that good of a job. The platforms are there like X, but there isn't many citizen journalists that really give a shit about unbiased truth, unbiased facts. The Defiant, there you go. But there isn't many that are doing that. So if you can, like, I'm thankful. People like to sometimes call me a journalist, which obviously I don't like, and I don't think I even deserve. You know, I'm not a journalist that goes in the fucking war zone and covers wars. That's what I like to call a journalist. But I'm in a grateful position where I'm financially well off. So, and we don't make $0 on our political shows. We make them on finance, AI, crypto shows. We make $0 on the political shows. That means I have zero likelihood of an advertiser telling me not to talk or to talk about something. So I've been shit talking Pfizer for a long time. And I'm not only shit talking, there's positives. There's a lot of good that Pfizer, hate me for this. There's a lot of good that companies that Pfizer, like Pfizer, bring to society. A lot of bad as well. So they can't pay me off. And because of my childhood and my life, seeing what happened to my family as a kid, I've always, before getting into the media game, since I was a kid, I promised myself to never be biased and always be open-minded. And that's why I love asking questions. That's why I used to love to listen. I still listen a lot more. I read more now. It's become part of my personality. So it's essentially, I'm in a blessed place where I don't need the money. I don't have advertisers that pay me off. And I've been raised in a way to be unbiased. So it's, it's a good place to be. And for anyone in the media game, it's a good time to be in the game. So again, if you're bringing two industries and putting them together, two very lucrative industries, good for you. Defiant, congratulations.
So you mentioned we're gonna see you in a fight. Where are you fighting? When are you fighting?
Yeah, it was announced yesterday. I called out Ran, because I know he has a shoulder injury, by the way, so I knew he was gonna say no. Ran, I knew about your shoulder injury. I didn't tell you. So Mr. Ran, when I called you out yesterday, anyone that hasn't seen the video, I kind of called out Ran in a pretty aggressive way. And
there's no one I hate as much as Ran. He calls himself the biggest show in crypto. Him and his cult, his banter. Families,
crypto banter.
Man, I'm interviewing senators, prime ministers. He's launching shitcoin after shitcoin. Ran, if you're listening to this, man, I'll see you in the pit in Singapore, and the winner could be the king of crypto media. How's that for a title, Ran?
I called him out for a fight in September at the Karate Combat by George, Cryptos Are Us. And he said no because of the shoulder injury. Ran, I knew about your shoulder injury already, so I knew you were going to say no. But you're the only guy I want to fight. There's no one else in crypto that I want to fight, that interests me to fight.
If you want to succeed, you need to be a killer.
But for now, it's just Ryan. I'll be fighting in Singapore. It'll be the main event in Token 2049.